And now it's time for the do-it-yourself exercises where you need to read carefully the task and try to do it on your own. And we start with the exercise where we need to create a slicer based on year. This should be a filter for the table. So to perform it like this, of course at the beginning we need to have the year from the order date, and then we need to turn it into a table by using Ctrl-T shortcut. And once we have a table, either on table design or on insert tab, we can insert a slicer on the year, and then the end user can easily filter the dates. We can also change the number of columns into 4, and then we can create a filter right above the table. In the second exercise, we would like to get two things. The first one is the status icon, which delayed means red. And we need to create a slicer just to filter the data based on the status in here. So first, let's start with the icon, and the icons are available in Excel as conditional formatting, but only when you apply numbers. So we will change the status we have into a number. If the status equals delayed, then 1, otherwise 0. This is the formula we create, and we apply a new icon set conditional formatting, and then we will edit it to make the delayed line appear as red. So we edit the rule, we will reverse the order and change the type into a number, which allows you to create a rule like this. If it's greater than or equal 1, then red light. Otherwise, no cell icon, otherwise no cell icon. And when we hit OK, you will see only red light for the delayed. We have also a second option, which is show icon only. Instead of numbers we can apply it to this. And at the end, we can create a table out of it and insert a slicer that will allow us to easily filter the delayed and OK orders. If we have an auto filter in here, we can easily select end conditions like it should be critical and both it should be delayed. But what if we are supposed to choose by using the auto filter the OR condition? It is either critical or delayed. In this case, the auto filter will not work, and we need to create another column which will check whether the condition is met or not. So in our case, we can use the OR formula to check whether the order priority equals critical or the status equals delayed. And when we hit enter, we will get false or true column, and based on this we can check whether the OR condition is met or not. If you would like to remove some kind of rows from your table permanently, then you apply the auto filter and then select things that are supposed to be removed, like the delayed status. Then you select the whole table, or you can also use rows to be selected, and then you remove them not by hitting delete button, but instead you would like to remove the rows. So let's delete rows from the worksheet, and then the rows disappear, and when you bring back the status, you can see that rows have been deleted. If we have a filter applied, it's not that difficult to apply a value for the cells that are only visible. You just select them, create a formula like year of the order date, and you use Ctrl and Enter to apply the values. And when we reapply the auto filter, we will see that we actually created the formula only for the visible cells. If we want to sort any column alphabetically, we can just place the cursor on the first cell of data and go to the sorting options and hit sort from A to Z. But from time to time you might see that your heading disappears, so let's bring it back and what is the solution in there? You can create the auto filter in here and then say let's sort the column. This time we need to sort the order priority column by the logical order: low, medium, high, critical and undefined. And there are many ways to do it, but I will show you two examples. The first one is to create the order ID column, and we will use a formula like VLOOKUP to look up the information we need from the sort column, and then we will use this column to sort the data in the ascending order, so that we have the low order priority in here. And this is the one way we can do it. If we would not have this kind of column, there is the other way: File and Options, and you can create in the advanced settings your own custom list for sorting. You can take the new list from importing the cells you have in Excel. You'll have in here the sort order, and now you can go to the custom sort options and say I would like to sort the order priority based on the order coming from my custom list. And when you hit OK, you will get the data sorted. Exercise number 8 is rather simple if you recall the option of custom sort, because we need to sort by order date in ascending order, order date from oldest to newest, and then we need to add level and sort also by status, this time again A to Z, and then we get the data sorted. In the next exercise, we sort the data by the order date. You can pick any of the sort direction. Then we need to change the status of the first order to delayed, and then we need to bring back the sort. It will work sort of Ctrl Z operation, undo, but this time we need to have the change in the cell applied. How to do it? How to bring the data back to the initial state? Maybe you will find another way, but I usually create an index column, copy the data down, then create a sort, change the data, like for example, let's change the status to delayed, and then once again I sort the data by the ID column. If you have conditional formatting applied, you can also sort by conditional formatting. So you can go for custom sort and say I would like to sort by the light column, but this time not based on the cell value but on the conditional formatting icon. And the red light should be on top. We hit OK and the data gets sorted. Filter the table so that only whole row duplicates remain. What do I mean by that? This is the whole row duplicate, which is the order ID, order date and the order priority are replicated in next rows. So I would like to see this kind of rows at the end. How to do it? You can actually create duplicates highlighting in the conditional formatting by highlighting duplicate values. But first we need to identify what is the duplicate. In our case, this is the combination of all of the text we have in the row. So we need to combine all of the text, copy the formula down, and then we can select the data we have in here and apply the conditional formatting to highlight duplicated values. We can apply the default formatting, and then we can also go to the filtering option and say let's filter by the color or by the fill of the cell, and this is how we can identify whole row duplicates in our table. In the next exercise, we would like to remove full row duplicates, which means if all the values in all of the columns repeat, then I would like to keep this order just once. And this is as simple as going for the data tab and hitting remove duplicates. We would like to keep all of the 3 columns selected. This creates in memory of Excel a combination of all of them and uses the remove duplicate operation only on the combination of all of them. And we get 17 unique values in here. In the next exercise, we have 4 years of order dates, and we would like to remove all of the rows, keeping just 4 orders in here, the last order for each of the years. So we will work on years in here. So let's first create the year of the order date. But then the question is how to remove all of the unnecessary orders and keep only the orders that are the newest in each of the years. So first, let's sort the data by the year from smallest to largest, and then we will add the second level by the order date, but this time newest to oldest. This makes the last order in each year to appear on top of each of the years. And now when we go to the data tab and hit remove duplicates, but only based on the year column, Excel should keep the first order for year 2011 and also the first order for the year 2012. And we get the last order in each of the years. In the next exercise, we've got a table where the dates go from left to right, and we would like to switch them with the rows. So you can use either the transpose formula or you can copy as it is expected in here, and you can paste it as the transpose formula. And now we need to apply the formatting, displaying result in red. If result compared to plan is below 80%, and also we need to create a green light icon in here. So let's start with the first exercise, which is let's create a new rule for conditional formatting, and we would like to highlight the cells based on the formula. And the formula for the first cell in the selection is B15 divided by C15 should be less than 0.8. If yes, then we need to apply red fill to the formatting. Let's check the formula, and we see the months where this condition is met. And we should also see a green traffic light icon next to the months where the result is greater than the plan. So if the result cell is greater than the plan, then 1, otherwise 0. We copy the formula down and apply the conditional formatting in here by using shapes, and then we need to modify the rule. If it's greater than or equal to 1, then green light. If it's less than 1 and greater than or equal to 0, then nothing, and otherwise nothing. We check show icon only, and after hitting OK, we can see the expected months highlight. Exercise number 15 is a bit more complex because we need to calculate how many duplicated order numbers we have. Let's start by calculating the count if at the moment just on the row level based on the range that we have in here and using the criteria as the first order ID. We will get the number of times this kind of order ID appears on the list, and if it's just 1, we get 1. If we have a duplicate, like for this order, you will see everywhere 3. So now if we divide 1 by this formula, you will see that if we sum up now the values for all of the duplicates, we get 1. So what we need to check is whether this value is less than 1, and if yes, we need to sum all of the information coming from this column. So we could add in here the if formula and say if this what we calculate is less than 1, then the result should be this formula. Otherwise, the result should be 0. And when we hit enter and copy the formula down, you will see that when we sum up this column, we get the value of 5, which means on the list we have 5 duplicates. And the biggest trick now is to create one single formula that will do this on the fly. So what we can do is we can copy already the formula, and instead of just comparing the values to one cell, as it would work on a row, we need to apply this to the whole column. And of course, this is exactly the same in the second argument. Because the result is a column of values, we need to sum the values we get at the end. And when you hit enter in Excel 365, you get immediately the results. In previous Excels, you need to apply Ctrl, Shift and Enter to get the final result. In the next exercise, we have a table of values. You can imagine we have plenty of rows in there, and we need to fill them with a specific formula in the year column, but only if the value is empty. There are, of course, multiple ways to do it, but I will show you a trick where you can select the whole column with, for example, Ctrl and space. Then we can hit Go To and select only the blanks values, and then you can create a formula like, let's take the year of the order date, and when you hit Ctrl and Enter, you apply the formula to all of the missing values. In the exercise 17, we have the link value that we can see in the cell, and we have also the value that we are looking for. And if we try to extract the text value by using the formula, like let's extract 5 characters, you can see that we extract the displayed value, not the hyperlink. So there are, of course, multiple ways to deal with that, especially if we had more of hyperlinks like this. But the one that we will test is the find and replace formula, where we can find the second argument, which begins with the semicolon. Then we have some kind of text, so we can place in here the asterisk, and then we have the closing bracket, and instead of that we can omit the second argument and replace it with only the closing bracket. And once we hit replace all, you will see that we get actually the text coming out of the hyperlink. In the next exercise, we have the formula which is not working because it does not have the equation sign. So we can use once again the find and replace formula and say, let's replace the hyperlink with the equation sign and the hyperlink. And when we hit replace all, we will get the formulas back again and the hyperlinks working once again. If you use find command, you can see that you can actually find the question mark, but if you hit find all and select all of the values you've got in here, you actually select all of the cells. Why is that? Because the question mark is a special character that can be replaced by any other letter or any other character. So what we need to do to find question marks in here, or the same applies to asterisks, we need to use the tilde icon. This is the key just below the escape before the question mark. This is how Excel knows that instead of looking for any character, we need to look for the question mark, and when we hit find all, we find all of the question marks in the texts. In the next exercise, we will once again use the go to operation, because when you select the cells that are missing values, but you have the structure where the first element contains the expected value, you can hit go to and go to special and select blanks you can see in here. And then you can apply the formula like, let's take in the A7 value the value from the cell which is above me, but when we hit Ctrl and Enter, we apply the formula to all of the formulas we have in here, and this is how you can fill the gaps in here. In exercise 21, we have plenty of VLOOKUPs, and we need to correct them in a bulk operation. You can of course do it in many ways, but we practice operations on data, and one of them is find and replace. So we can go to our formulas like VLOOKUP, and at the beginning of the exercise we can turn off the formulas, which means let's switch all of the VLOOKUPs in here with just the VLOOKUP. This will turn off the formula, and once we have the formulas now, we can go and replace the VLOOKUP that we can see, which is at the beginning of all of the cells, with if error, and open the bracket for the VLOOKUP. And when you hit replace all, you will get once again the beginning of the formula all of the formulas end with the closing bracket, but after the closing bracket we would like to add the second argument of if error, which is missing. And then we close the bracket. Once again we replace all of the formulas, we supply the formula with the ending of the if error, and now we can find the if error formula and we can replace it by the equation sign if error, and when we hit replace all, the formula will work, and this will make a bulk transformation of all of the formulas to add the if error statement in all of them. This is particularly useful if your VLOOKUPs or other formulas are somehow spread around the worksheet or workbook, then you can perform this operation in bulk. If you have two similar rows, you can easily check what is the difference between them by going to special and finding the column differences. And in here, Excel will scan your table and will find, okay, in the D column you have a bit different value, and let's highlight it. You can also use go to hidden cells like A1. You can see that A1 is selected, although it's not visible, and this is how you can easily correct the formulas in the hidden cells, and after hitting enter you will perform the change. By using go-to, you can also find all of the objects that are available, like charts or shapes, and when you hit OK, you can select them together, and by hitting delete, you can remove them. If you want to correct just particular cells, like in here we have just the correct results in every second row, you can copy the values, assuming that all of the rest of the cells is empty, and you can paste it special, but this time you can check skip blanks option, and you will see that you are not pasting 0, but instead you are correcting just the expected results. If you want to change the order of columns, you can of course cut the column, select the column next to it, and insert cut cells. And this is of course the way you can do it, but there is an easier way to select just the column, go to the green border that you can see so that you can see also the black cross, keep the shift button selected, and with left mouse button you can do exactly the same. This is very useful when changing the order of columns, but it works also if you would like to change the order of rows. If you have Excel 365, you can find the answers to your questions more faster with array formulas. The one we discovered is the unique, so we can count the rows of the array that is returned by unique values based on the order IDs. And when we hit enter, we can see unique order numbers on the list. If we have Excel 365, we can perform an operation like give me a table of all of the duplicate orders, and not only just the order numbers, but the whole orders we have in there. So we can use the filter formula and go to a table we have in here, but as an include condition, we can say the COUNTIF based on the range coming from the exactly the same criteria should be greater than 1. And when we hit enter, we get all of the duplicated values. And in the last exercise, we will see combination of many array formulas within Excel 365. The one we will start with is the filtering, which can take the whole table that we have in here and can check whether the order date is greater than a specific date, which is 2011 December 31st. And this will return a table of all of the orders coming from this year's, and then we would like to sort the whole table by using the third column, which is the order date, and in the descending order, and we get the table filtered and sorted at the end.